And we're back live in the studio. I always wanted to lead into something that way. As you can see, the studio for Pookie's Powerhouse and Barbell Club, the now defunct Pookie's Powerhouse and Barbell Club, is my truck, as it's almost always been. So this video is going to be a little bit different than most of the content you've probably ever seen my face in. And I'm doing a small, short series of videos about my conversion to Orthodoxy. I'm going to keep it as a series of shorter videos, just because I don't want to go on overindulgent diatribes about myself, because that would be, well, it wouldn't be cool. So, as a way into first things, I wanted to start out by kind of framing the conversation. So I get asked a lot, why did I convert to Orthodoxy? And before getting into any of the particular issues or things that I was dealing with, I did want to make a short video to kind of frame the conversation. So in this video, I'll lay out 3 things that are kind of my ground rules and framework for working. Number 1, I will not be doing a deep dive on Orthodox theology. I'm not qualified to do a deep dive on Orthodox theology. I'm not the guy. There are a lot of very qualified people who are much more eloquent and nuanced in their approach and their speaking, who I would rather refer you to them than to actually tell you myself. And that's just kind of working with my limitations. I mean, I've been officially a convert for 5-6 months now. So for me to go on a huge diatribe on Orthodox theology wouldn't be very Orthodox of me, as far as the ethos of the church and of what I should be cultivating as an Orthodox Christian. And it would be a lack of self-awareness and a lack of humility. And I'm going to be graciously humble by telling you how humble that I'm being. No, it's not my place. That's not my place. So if you're looking into a deep dive into Orthodox theology, these videos will not be for you. Number 2, I'm going to try to be very charitable with what I say, because what I'm talking about is my particular path, the issues that I dealt with, and largely the cognitive dissonances, which is the best way that I can put it, that I was dealing with. That doesn't mean that all Protestants deal with these, or that all Protestants haven't come up with an answer for these. This is what I had to do. I'm also very cognizant of the fact that there are a lot of very wonderful Protestants who I know and love, and many more that I don't know. And many of them are still very dear friends. Many of them are still very important to me. And this isn't about how much better I am than them. This isn't anything like that. This is me talking about what I went through. So if you're seeing these videos and you know me in real life, this isn't me having a go at you, as some would say. This is me just talking about me. So, once again, a lot of very wonderful, earnest, honest, loving Protestants that I know and love dearly, and many of them are much better people than I ever will be, most likely. So this isn't about that. Third, I have run into some people that have tried to maintain. Now, these are people that don't know me in real life, but they try to maintain that the only way that I can convert from Reformed faith to Orthodoxy was I didn't understand Reformed faith. I was in the Reformed faith for round numbers a decade and a half. I lived, breathed, ate, and slept Reformed faith. I've read Westminster. I've read Williamson's commentary on Westminster. I've read Sproul's commentary on Westminster. I've read the Three Forms of Unity. I've read the Second Helvetic Confession that almost nobody reads unless you're a student of church history and the Reformed faith, just because no church actually uses the Second Helvetic Confession as a confessional document, so it's more of a historical curiosity for most people. But I was curious. I've read Reformed authors. I've read Sproul. I've read Machen. I've read Bavinck. I've read Berkhoff. I've read Van Til. I've read Frame. I've read North and DeMar. Okay? I've read Rushdoony. I won't say I've read everything every one of those guys has ever put out, but I'm acquainted with their works. Okay? And I understood them. I still understand where they're coming from. I disagree. Okay? So, in the future, just as a rule, if your greatest argument against somebody is, well, there's no way you can disagree with it because the only way you can disagree with it is you didn't understand it, that argument's weak sauce. Somebody can legitimately understand what you mean and still disagree with you. And it's actually a very prideful thing to say that, I'm so right that the only way that somebody could disagree with me is they just don't understand what I'm saying. I can take any of the positions, especially that somebody in the Reformed faith would have against the positions that I hold now, and I can restate them in a way that somebody that's Reformed would actually agree with. If you can do that, you understand the criticism and you understand what's being discussed. If you can't reform in your own words what's being said to you as a criticism or an argument, then you don't understand it. But anyway, my point being, anybody who argues that I made this conversion in ignorance of the riches and the excellencies of Reformed faith as they drink their craft brew and smoke their pipe or cigar or their artisanal coffee or whatever it is that they're drinking that lets us know how much better they are with their ironic facial hair. Okay, hipsters and the Reformed are kind of like hand in hand at times. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a good-natured joke, okay? I don't mean anything by it. Anyway, anybody who argues that I converted in ignorance is ignorant of who I am. And that's okay. You can be ignorant of who I am because who am I? And why should you pay any attention to me? And I would argue you probably shouldn't. But this is for the people that ask me why I converted. But like I said, I'll start the series and get some videos that are, try to keep the videos short, 15 minutes or less. Try to not go down too many self-indulgent roads, and try to keep them a little punchy so it's not too big of an ask. I hate when somebody sends a 4-hour video for a lecture on something. It's like, I'm not going to watch 4 hours so that I can hear your point. If you have a point to make, just get to the point. Anyways, that's just kind of first things video and ground rules video. So we'll see you on the next one.